We are going live. From what I know, it takes 15 seconds to work, but it's fine because I cut this out anyway.
All right.
As long as YouTube will grace us tonight with how awful YouTube has been lately. Sorry, YouTube. Love you. We should
It's
be
a
okay.
love-hate relationship.
Let us see. It says it's live on my end.
Yeah, we're good.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Titan's Table, Tabletop Edition. I hope that you are all doing good tonight. We are going to be discussing Double Masters, a lot about Double Masters, and we are also going to be discussing a situation that has been exploding in the Warhammer community. So, before we get into the topics, tonight on our panel, like always, we have Grim Monolith, the editor and content advisor for Dark Titan Enterprises. He holds a PhD in astrophysics and a master's in computer science, a lifelong gamer. He has spent about 12 years now as a New England esports tournament organizer for games like Super Smash Bros., StarCraft, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, he's done a lot. He also has helped manage and run several comic and gaming stores. We also have Esfera, aka Rob, a business entrepreneur who is well versed in the finances behind games such as Magic the Gathering. He's worked as a game store owner and served as a long-time esport and Magic the Gathering tournament organizer and judge from the Boston area. He is, if I can be a little biased, my favorite game store owner. If I can be just a little biased, he's played Magic since its inception and is an avid Minecraft player and streamer. Hopefully soon, all of us can get together and play some Minecraft. We also have Plain Discord. He is a technology support and management specialist who also runs his own collectible appraisal business. Plain is an avid Minecrafter, just like most of us here, who develops and creates Minecraft servers, which is awesome. Always useful to have around, that's for sure. In addition, he is building a business for the Minecraft servers, like I said. Along with this, he also is an avid lover of classic gaming and movie trivia. He's been playing Magic since 1994 and appraising collectibles for over 5 years with a ton of judging experience as well. We also have Bad Boy Roy, the most badass guy in this stream. He is a streamer on Dark Titan Enterprises' sister channel, Dark Titan Gaming. Along with most of us here, he is a lover of classic gaming, and soon you may all see some Bad Boy Roy and Varadark content. We will have to see, but maybe soon I'll get a green screen just like him and we can be badass together. And of course, you all know who I am. I am Varadark, the main contributor to Dark Titan Enterprises. So, with the intros out of the way, let us begin. Why don't we start with some Double Masters? Now, Double Masters, if you do not know, is the next Magic the Gathering set. It is supposed to be more of a premium set. A couple of years ago, they said that they were going away from master sets, and after making master sets that weren't called master sets, they just decided that they would be upfront and honest with everyone that they are master sets. So I think what we want to start with for Double Masters...
Why don't we start with the Star City
Yeah,
games?
and Magic the Gathering in general is Magic's revenue decline in the second quarter of 2020. Now, as all of you know, right now, so many companies are in decline because of the coronavirus and just sales in general are down for retail, but I did want to read through very quickly just a snippet of a Star City Games article, which I will post in chat in just a minute, but it says Magic revenues decline in the second quarter of 2020. So Magic the Gathering's revenues were down in the quarter as forecasted, the Hasbro chairman and CEO Brian Goldner said. The brand is performing well overall and is set up for a good second half of the year in both analog and digital play behind the new card releases as well as the expansion of Arena to mobile and into China. That's an interesting piece to put there. We've touched on Magic Arena going to the Chinese region, which I'm sure that we'll talk about a little bit more, but Hasbro's net revenues for the second quarter were $860.3 million versus their $1.2 billion of revenues in 2019, a decline of 29%. Those are some big numbers that we're talking about, but yeah, that's those are their revenues for the second quarter. Like I said at the beginning, obviously a lot of industries are really down right now, but why don't we start the discussion with that, Grim? What do you think about the future of Magic and them being down in revenue? I'm curious.
Well, those are definitely COVID numbers, right?
Yeah,
so they're down in
definitely.
revenue because of COVID numbers. In that article, the one line that really worries me is there's the mention of China, and I know China's a big market, but with China comes trouble. We know that brings censorship, it brings changes to products. So going into China is the next logical step for them. Now, just going mobile in general, I think, is what they need to do to make Arena successful. So I'm not knocking them from that. Right? Hearthstone is still bigger than Arena,
True.
because it's mobile. Because you can play Hearthstone on anything.
Right.
So they need to make it so that Arena is playable on anything, and that's what their goal is. That's what they're doing. There's a lot of problems with Arena, like there's no spectator mode. They're going to have to readapt the whole interface to function on mobile, because the way it is right now, I can tell you that it's not very functionable on mobile. Just look at the events and how they have to stream the events because of no spectator mode.
Oh, the way that they stream events is awful.
Yeah, they have to screen share both players, like, and then they basically they'll move one screen down, one up, and then they'll cut one off so that you can see both players' hands. I don't know, it's terrible they do that. But those numbers, that 29% is not, if you I read the article a couple times. I looked at all the numbers in there. That's 29% overall down. They did mention a couple things in there as well. That one, Ikoria is the best-selling spring set they've ever had.
Yes.
They did say that.
Yes.
And they said that Arena, compared to the same quarter in 2019, that there's more hours being played and there's more game. I think they said 2.2 billion games on Arena were played in that quarter, as opposed to 2 or 2.1 billion in the same quarter in 2019. So Magic, even though the Hasbro numbers are down, the Magic numbers and everything with Magic, which is full steam ahead, looks good. Looks really
definitely.
Good. And then the last thing they mentioned in that article is that they're hoping that Double Masters will, mount a huge comeback as far as numbers go.
Right.
But I'm sure as Farrah, when he goes, he's going to talk about the fact that, they are not always truthful, and there's always going to be spin involved in these types of articles, which is true. And I think that there's a lot of spin when it comes to the part of the article where they mention about the LGSs. They said, twice as many LGSs opened in this quarter than has ever opened in the quarter before. Right. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's spin upon spin. And I'm sure that there's some mathematical way that they've come up with that number. Being a person of math, I can tell you the manipulation of statistics in our society is so rampant and so massive. So I'm sure that there is some statistic somewhere, some number that they're spinning to talk about health of the LGSs. And then they talked about how Double Masters is going to help the LGSs as well. When we get to Double Masters, my opinion is going to be very strong about what it really is. But Double Masters, I don't think is going to do what they are saying it's going to do. They know what it's going to do, but they're spinning it in a certain way for the LGSs to eat it up. The LGSs that are around, that have survived. And that's kind of my take on that article. I don't think Hasbro's in any trouble.
Right. Well, someone did mention in the chat that they think that they are counting online sellers and online storefronts as well. Which I don't think there's any proof of that, but that would make sense.
Yeah. So there you go. So that could be true.
And did they not say that that they had to register online stuff?
No, the article doesn't get that in depth. It's a
no.
article. But that could very well be true. Like I said, there's got to be some spin somewhere that they're able to manufacture that idea, so that if someone calls them out, they can say, "But we were looking at this and we added this and we added that."
Right.
So I think that it's a possibility that that's the truth. Anyway, I yield to I don't know, as fair.
Yeah, Sfer, what are your thoughts on these numbers? Do you think that they're inflating them? How do you think they're getting these numbers? What are your thoughts?
So I have no doubt that their arena numbers are definitely showing a higher percentage of people playing. Even people I know that hate arena are playing it right now because
Right.
because they can't play anywhere else. Let's see, their physical sales are Hasbro's physical sales are down 29%. Well, that's a combination of both no in-store play, so no Magic sales through the LGSs, culminated with the fact that most of your big box stores were not essential, and most of your toy stores weren't essential, so they weren't allowed to sell Hasbro's cheap Chinese knockoffs. Yeah. That being said, I have no doubt that at least of that 29%, 20% of it was directly from Magic the Gathering singles not being sold.
Right.
Now, Ikoria may have had some of their strongest set sales numbers for a set, but is that factoring in paper and arena, or is that factoring in only arena? Because you can fudge the numbers to say what you want when you hide the metrics.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know.
I've been looking at this whole thing, and if you go back about around March when we did our Titans table and we shut down and everything was going down, I said I expect 50% of the stores in the country to close out, 50 to 75%. Then we would probably see some new stores popping up. Wizards would not state that the new stores, Wizards will find a way to say, hey, look, we lost 50% of our LGSs. Hey, look, there's 21% new LGSs. Okay, cool. How many old LGSs failed? You can have 21% new LGSs. How many of the old LGSs are gone? What's the total number of LGSs we got going on?
Right.
There's something wrong with this. Not to mention, some stores, depending on your state, some stores are allowed to be open, other stores are not. Some stores within your state are stage 3, other stores are stage 4, depending on your state, like Massachusetts. Do you even have one stand-up arcade? So it's little things like that which are killing the numbers. I mean, I have no doubt that they lost $400 million in the first quarter this year.
Right.
Absolutely no doubt. And I am wondering, on top of COVID, what percentage of it is woke culture and people finally saying, we're done with it. We're not giving you any more money until you shut your trap and stop virtue signaling.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Boy Roy, what are your thoughts on these sales numbers?
Well, I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, no, that's the answer. I love it.
Hell, I don't know. I think that, they're just going to say whatever they're going to say. They're going to try to make stuff seem as good as possible, given the current status of the world with the Rona situation. And,
Right.
I mean, you kind of have to polish a turd, so to speak, so that way your investors don't take their money out, But as we know, for those that follow the stock market to some degree, Hasbro definitely went down after the announcement. But so if you didn't know, that's what happened. So people read between the lines. They ain't dummies, so they can try to BS the people, but people don't believe in that shit. They can think for themselves.
So you think their numbers, they're inflating their numbers to look like the good company right now, like they're unaffected by Corona?
Yeah, because again, I feel like they want investor money, and because they have, as most companies do, they have their own agendas, and they don't want investors to pull out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that'd be bad for business.
Definitely.
I'm not sure. Sorry about that. The only rebuttal to that, the only downside to that is that they would be committing a lot of FCC violations if they were artificially inflating their numbers because they're a publicly traded company.
Artificially inflate them, just like more or less trying to say like, oh well, it's not quite as bad as what you think it is because of X, Y, Z. So it's kind of sugarcoating the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like
pull data from A to support B when B and A have nothing to do with each other. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. More or less is what it's coming down to. But hey, it ain't my business. They can do whatever the hell they want to. But I think it's bullshit nonetheless.
Fair enough. Plain Discord, I'm not sure if your microphone is good.
He is muted.
Well, he is muted.
I'm good. I'm good now.
So what are your thoughts on it?
I think that maybe this could be the sign that now they're starting to see people who don't want to deal with the product because of the stuff that they're adopting. Now they're starting to see a lack of sales. And I also agree with Roy. It's more than likely just a big drop too due to COVID and all that wonderful jazz that's been happening worldwide. I think that's also, the economy is slowing due to those things. However, that's mainly because most of your state governments are shutting down their economy intentionally because they're too afraid.
Right.
I have nothing else on this.
All right.
I'm very I look at this and it's a systemic side effect of the current situation the world's in, primarily.
Right.
Yep, definitely. I mean, the 29% down could literally be due to just COVID-19 and stores not being open. But at the same time, they're saying don't worry about Magic sales because of the strength of Ikoria sales, which they're saying was the best-selling set in the spring that they've ever had.
Yeah, it's only best-selling because everyone they just wanted some of the goodies that came with it.
Yeah, the Godzilla stuff, right? So that really pushed the set. And they're talking about how successful Arena is going to be, and then of course the scary statement about mobile in China. So we'll have to see where things go.
And the thing is when it comes down to mobile in China, I mean, what company isn't doing that? That's not old. That's basically old news. Every company's going to China to do mobile development or game development out there because there's tens of millions of people in Chinese government. That if you're willing to censor your player base and you're willing to do whatever the Communist Party wants you to do, which is a lot of these companies, then you'll have a very welcome spot in China. Look at the NBA.
Right. Yeah,
sure,
definitely.
The NBA will virtue signal things in the United States, but they won't touch any issues in China. And that's a whole other
bag of books. There's a good chance they're going to be going under federal investigation anyway because of the fact of what they're doing.
Wow, I could believe it. Okay, I guess this leads us This leads us into the whole fiasco of double cash grab.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to lead the conversation on this one?
Conversation. Let's first start off by saying, Wizards said they weren't going to be doing any more master sets, but double masters that year.
Right. Even though they released a set that was basically a master set that just didn't have the masters in it.
Right. They called it what was it? Modern Horizons, right? No,
Modern Horizon. Yeah, okay, buddy, Horizon. Sure.
Yeah, still a master set.
But it was really good for master set, and it was such a horrible failure.
Yeah, I thought that it sold pretty decently.
It sold great. It was just a failure in design.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it that way for sure. Definitely. So, double masters. Here's the thing. It's a cash grab. So what we have here is a set that is a lot more money than any of the other master sets ever were. This thing cost $300. You're starting at $300 a box, $350 a box. That's what it's going for online. It's not going for anything less than that. And the reprints, for better or for worse, have literally tanked the singles market. And a lot of us will sit here and say, well, that's awesome because singles were too expensive and it's making things more accessible. It's making cards and it's making formats more accessible than they were before.
Right.
But at the same time, the increased price of the sealed product is making it so that you're not getting any value out of the money.
It's balancing itself.
When you're spending $300 plus on a box and $15 on a pack, and you're getting 15-cent mythics, there's no value in that $15. It's basically like throwing $15 into the wind. So they're hurting themselves while trying to solve a problem. They're hurting the value of the sealed product while trying to solve a problem with the singles product.
Right.
But then we have the box toppers, right? The box toppers, which there's so many box toppers with these crazy artworks that they know everyone wants. And this comes, remember the tweet from Mark Rosewater where he was like, well, not all products for everyone. These, we're creating these special collectibles for those who want to spend the money. And
that's our way of rewarding them.
Yeah, our way of rewarding them. But they're creating a product that is super collectible, super hard to find.
Right.
They're putting these box topper cards also in the VIP packs. And remember, the VIP pack. So here we go. We have a VIP pack, right? It's Double Masters is already a premium product. Master sets were already premium products. But now they've created a premium of a premium product called a VIP pack, which you have to literally pay $100 for one pack. This is completely pushing the boundary, and there's a lot of people out there that are saying this is Wizards pushing the boundary to see how far they can take premium products, to see how expensive they can go before there's any type of pushback from the market. Okay, and to me, all these hard to get box toppers, these $100 VIP premium of a premium set, okay, are creating a whole new type of market. To me, they are taking the game out of collectible card game, and they are just making it collectible cards. This is no longer a collectible card game. This is about collectible cards. And that's what they want. They want the collectible cards, and they want to push everything towards Arena, which we know is making them bank. We know Arena is making them bank. And they want to keep pushing towards Arena. And this is just an awful, awful cash grab, what they're doing. The price of just the basic set, I'm going to call it the basic set, even though it's still a premium set. And then the VIP price, and then the box toppers. I mean, this is just pushing the boundary, and it could be pushing players out of the game. Now, I will mention, I know that one of the articles, the last thing I have to say about this is I know one of the big arguments out there is valid. This is valid, where people keep saying, hey, yes, there are all these premium, really expensive, hard to get versions of these cards, but you don't need them to play the game, right?
Right.
So you just want to build a modern deck. You don't need the box topper version of Engineering Explosives. All you need is the now $2 version of Engineering Explosives. I guess it's no different than cosmetics, and people comparing it to cosmetics in Arena. You don't need the fancy blinking in and out foily version of Shock to play Shock in Arena. You can just play the Shock that you opened out of the M20, M21 pack. And there is that argument. But I still believe it's an attempt to take the game out of collectible card game and just make it collectible cards. And we're going to hear from Asfera about what happened with the baseball card market and how this is similar to that. And it's very interesting how that went down and the similarities between that. So I think we'll pass it off to Asfera so he can kind of go over that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, my thoughts on all of these cash grabs that they have going is, if you take a look in the 1990s and baseball cards and what happened, industry, Tops, Upper Deck, they were all at war with each other to try to put out the next biggest thing. And in each one of their sets, they would have this new limited edition insert, and that new limited edition insert, and this new limited insert of that insert of this insert, and gold leafs and gold press and silver and platinum and jerseys and autograph cards and this, that, and the other. And it was just people who wanted to collect and get one of every card were suddenly finding themselves kicked completely the fuck out of the industry, to the point where they were unable to keep up with everything coming out. There was so much stuff coming out from all of these companies that people just got fed up and started quitting.
Right.
That's why Magic actually succeeded and started to pop off, because at the time all these companies were warring and overproducing, this new card game came out, which was kind of like the idea of baseball cards for collectability, but with the kind of Dungeons and Dragons feel of a game and kind of like a chess feel of strategy. So people got into that. It started hemorrhaging and going over to Magic. Well, Magic is now recreating the situation that brought people to them and made everybody cave out of that industry. In doing this, they single-handedly might actually be extracting so much wealth from the game and destroying so many collectors' ability to collect stuff. And like when you look at a collection and your friend goes, "Oh my God, you have that card! It's so expensive, it's so hard." There's a little bit of self-gratification there that you were able to go out and get it, whether you put money into it or traded for it. But now suddenly your $100 card is 15 cents, and people just look at it and keep going, and all the effort you put in to get that card has been erased. It forces you to reevaluate your life choices and decide whether or not you want to keep doing this, because who knows if they're going to Yu-Gi-Oh the next valuable card and print it into oblivion.
Right.
Oh, and this is definitely what Yu-Gi-Oh was doing with all the tins and all the other
they
things.
still
They're
do that.
even worse now. They're even worse now.
I don't think they're worse, actually, because you know what you're going to get with Yu-Gi-Oh since day one, even when I was playing back in the day. You knew that a reprint set was going to come of the top 5 decks for whatever happened at the championships that year.
Right.
In Magic, you could be playing with the card one day, it spikes because it's suddenly needed, and then you find out in 3 weeks that they've added it to this next set to put it into the market at a lower frequency and crush it. I mean, think about it from this perspective. A Mythic today has more cards printed of it than a Rare from Lorwyn.
True.
I mean, this is, in my opinion, probably the biggest mistake Magic could have ever done. If they had made all of these things and just inserted into packs and you just get them as you get them, it would be a little better. But what the baseball card industry started doing was putting out the what they would refer to as the retail edition, which would go to all your big box stores. And they would have the hobby edition, which went to your local stores. Then they would have the exclusive edition, which was for every case you bought, you would get 1 box of this special limited print run of the set. Then they had if you bought 10 of these special editions, meaning you bought 100 of this one, you got this extra ultra exclusive one. Then they had the get this redemption, buy enough boxes and save the UPC codes and mail them in and get a redemption thing. People just got so tapped out that they just quit. It was so much easier for them to go play a video game. Hell, even with micro purchasing at this point, a video game might be cheaper than $100 pack of Magic.
Yeah.
It feels like they're making these for the people that open packs on thing, because they can only open so many beta
for
packs.
Content online, like live streams and videos.
Honestly, it really feels like that. Like they're just saying, hey, somebody's gonna buy this and open it up on their stream and get somebody to donate a ton of money to them to open a pack of this random thing. Because I can't see the average person working at $15 an hour to make ends meet going out at the end of the week and saying, give me a box at $100 a pack. Even with their government Trump bucks, they're not getting it.
Right.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Pushing the boundary. It's pushing the boundary, and that's what they're doing.
No, it's not pushing the boundary. It's surpassed the boundary. Master sets, in my opinion, were the boundary.
Right.
You know what? There is a difference between supply and demand, and the longer you go that something's been out of print, that the prices slowly tick up, and that's just how much is it going to cost me as a store to buy a box? Okay, that's how much I have to sell a pack for, so that if this box sells out, I can replace it and put it back on my shelf. Customer goes in and says, I want some nostalgia. I haven't played Magic in 10 years. Give me a pack of Lorwyn. Here's your $25. Another guy comes along and goes, hey, look, a pack of Fallen Empires. Here's $7. I haven't bought a pack of those since 94, 95. That's one thing where supply and demand over time slowly drives these prices up. And then there's artificial demand, where a company goes out of its way to artificially hype something up. And every single time they do this, the market crashes out from underneath it. They hemorrhage players, and then they wonder why they lost 29% on a quarter.
Right. Definitely.
That's a good point.
That's my $4.86.
So I'm just saying about, so what I mean about pushing the boundary is, there's a lot of talk, Reddit, Facebook groups, all this type of stuff, where people are saying that they did the $100 pack to see how many of them they could sell, and that they keep putting out increasingly more expensive premium products to see what it is that they can sell. And they're going to keep doing it till they hit the ceiling and something doesn't sell. So if these so people believe that if these $100 packs sell well, we're going to see a $200 pack, basically.
Yeah, I have seen that.
That's
theory.
the only thing that I mean about by pushing the boundary.
Yeah, I have definitely seen that theory, and while it is a theory, it doesn't sound that unbelievable. Is that they want to test their market, they want to test what people are willing to buy. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a company. Even though we don't want them to act like a shitty company, they still are a company. But I honestly kind of believe that they will continue to make more expensive products until they hit that ceiling, and then they see the decline in sales, and then they say, okay, we can't go this far. We have to take it back 2 steps, and then people are happy with them again. It's always about raising the bar. How much can we charge people?
And I guess before we pass it off to our other 2 panelists, they're going to point to 2 things if people start really complaining. One, they're going to point to digital. They're going to point you towards Arena and say, you can play that for free.
Right.
Although if you really want to compete,
it's not free, right?
It's not free.
Right.
Unless you're really, really good at Magic in Arena, and there are some people that are. You can earn most of your cards. You can be done. But if you're not one of those people, then you got to do the 50 for 50, and you got to grind every day. But anyway, they'll point you towards Arena, and then the other thing is they're trying to create the new booster that's going to be coming out in Zendikar, the non-draft booster, which is supposed to be meant for people who just open packs and are not looking to draft, and it's a booster with an extra rare slot in it.
I disagree. I think,
yeah.
Well, that's what they're saying it is.
I know what they're saying. Okay, Grim.
But that's
yeah, but we're going to get into that in a little bit, right?
Well, good. Let us get into that, because I got a whole story on who those are actually targeting.
Well, wait, because Plain Discord and Bad Boy Roy haven't given their thoughts yet.
Yeah, go for it. Go to that. I'm going to mute myself for a minute. I got some thoughts.
So, I have a dissenting opinion when it comes down to Doubles Masters than probably everyone else here. I'm perfectly okay with how they printed everything. I'm perfectly okay with the VIP boosters. The only thing I'm not okay with is the value cost to the player front. So they're dropping Double Masters at what, $350 a box to start. If you're looking to Canada, you're looking at $600 to $700 a box Canadian. Makes it obscenely expensive for people to get into playing extended formats. That's the part I'm looking at is, it's great to have the reprints. We need to have the reprints. I love to see the reprints coming out. And then I really like the VIP cards that provide the alternative arts. It gets the Timmies excited in Magic the Gathering. It gets them to want to come out and invest in new cards because the collectors like myself, I don't buy the new stuff. I won't buy the new stuff unless it's exciting. The only thing I've bought this year so far, I bought 1 box of the Godzilla set, and that's only what is that? Ikoria. I bought 1 of Ikoria only because of the fact that the novelty of the Godzilla cards. That's the only reason why. And I kept all the Godzilla cards, sold everything else off. Didn't keep any of them as collectibles. And then I picked up Jumpstart. The reason I picked up Jumpstart is because of what Jumpstart did and what they did with Jumpstart. That was actually a really great product, well designed, and there's a lot of good value in there. Double Masters I will pick up as well because of the fact that it's a good set, well designed, it's thought out, and they realized that for this set, if we wanted to bring a Master set back, we need to put value in it. We have come up short on everything except for the Master set before this. So we lost out on Masters 25. We lost out on Iconic Masters. Those were horrible. And then you had Eternal Masters, which came out, and it was horrible to start, but now it's gained its value only because it was short printed, and then they removed a lot of printings from stores. They either stopped print run from the distributor and they bought them back from the distributor, or they told the distributors they weren't allowed to sell them to cut down on value or cut down on availability in the market. When I look at Double Masters, I say this is actually kind of a pretty close to a home run when it comes down to engaging players and collecting the cards. It's really good at being able to excite the player base, especially those of us who are investors who do like buying the cards for value, to have a collection, because some people like collecting Magic. I'm not like a Rudy where I'm going to sit down and I'm going to sit on my 10 million dual lands and brag about that. I'm more of the type, I look like I want to have a collection of Magic cards that are more of a heirloom. I want an heirloom of cards, and these VIP cards and these special editions are heirlooms more so than they are playable cards. I look at it as I'm not going to play them. Those are the cards I'm
Right.
going to get, put them in the double sleeve. I'm going to put them inside something. I'm going to hold on to them until it comes to a certain amount of years from now where I can get them graded. And they can look really cool on a wall in a mural. For instance, the Urza lands. The Tron lands look beautiful, and I want them. I want one of each with Karn in the middle, because that is a whole art line that's based on that artist, and it looks absolutely amazing. I would love to have that on my wall looking beautiful. That I don't want to play it in a deck. It's not for me to show off like that. It's for me to show off on a wall. Say I open a store 10, 15, 20 years from now, and God forbid, Magic's still going. Hope it is. But even if it's not, I'd love to be able to have those things, or have my dual lands sitting on the wall behind me that are graded alphas and graded betas. That, you know, I'd like to have my last set of Power 9 sitting on the wall. They're heirlooms. I don't play with them. I have them sealed and put up where I can display them proudly, because it's part of my lineage as a person. It's part of my lineage as a collector and an appraiser. So for me, I'm fine with the VIPs. I think they should be at $50, or sorry, at $100. They should be high value, and they should be. The problem is I have with it is they need to provide more value in them. It feels like I'm going to be paying $100 for one of them, and I'm not going to get my $100 back.
Well, if you look at the prices of cards that are being reprinted in it, it's
pretty obscene. I mean, you've got some good cards being reprinted. The mythics. I look at the mythics. There's only like what, 2, maybe 3 that are below $5, and the rest of them
there
are more.
I have a list right now. There's under how much? Like $15? Do you want to go like $5?
I think it's what, $10 and under. There's only like what, 5 or 10 maybe at most.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11.
11. So just over 10 are under $10.
But if you want to go under 15, there are a lot more.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And granted, I think what the booster packs are supposed to be selling in the United States for what, $16 to $18?
15 at low.
15 at low.
So
we're probably going to see them at Meijer or Walmart for a roughly $15 to $25. More than likely. I think Meijer will probably have them for $20. Walmart will probably have them for about 18.
My big problem with Double Masters that I want to mention is that there is only about 15 cards that are above $5 in the rare. Literally.
Oh yeah.
The rares. This is my problem, is that the mythics are pretty good, but the rares are the worst rares that I think I've seen in a master set.
The rares are not impressive to me. And the thing is a lot of the rares that were reprinted in here were over $5 until they saw them reprint in here. Look, Fulminator Mage. Fulminator Mage is a good example. That was a card that, what, 2, 3, 4 years ago, that card's $15, $20. Now it's 50. You know, it's $5 at one point after the last reprint of it in Ultimate Masters, and now maybe. Yeah, now it's $2 because it's in Double Masters, and you're going to see a lot of them because there's going to be a lot more rares in per box. You're getting 24 packs, but you have to take into consideration 24 packs with 2 rares in each one, so you're looking at 48 rares plus 2 box toppers. That's 50 rares per box. That's a lot compared to any other set. So they really are pumping rares out there, and the reprinted rares out there.
They've turned rares into R3s. R3s.
Yeah.
In simple terms, how many times they appear on a sheet? You have mythics appear once, rares used to appear twice. Now they're like R3s, which put them in the middle of a rare and an uncommon.
And then they turn
something down.
And they turn the mythics into probably close to an R2, maybe an R1, and then they do the special arts at that mythic level.
And by they're talking about the frequency, just so everyone knows it's watching.
Showing up on a page.
Talking about the frequency of the printing of each individual card.
Yep. Right. So cards come out on a sheet. If anyone's ever seen it, they come out on a sheet of I think what, 120?
121.
121 per sheet, and it's randomized. So what's going to be on there? If they're printing rare sheets, they're randomized within themselves, and every single rare within a rare sheet, they tell you that they are all weighted equally. They're not.
They're actually plotted. So a typical set will have 15 rares and 53. 15 mythics and 53 rares. Each rare will appear twice, bringing it to 106 plus 15 equals 121. Your mythics will appear one time throughout the sheet. Your rares will typically appear twice throughout the sheet. and they're usually plotted on the sheet based on how they want them cut and inserted into packs for the purposes of weighting draft. When you actually look at a sheet, you can see which rares are next to each other before getting they go through their automation process, which shuffles them up, and then you can backwards engineer and actually figure out what rares they want next to what for the purposes of drafting.
And the thing is they weighted this set as a not draftable. They weighted this as not a high draft set.
Right.
So, which is nice. That means that they're treating it more like more closer to how they're going to be treating when we get into it, the Zendikar set collector packs. That's kind of nice to see. That's what I've always wanted from all the master sets, was them not to be weighted in the area of focusing on drafting, but focusing on just getting cards in players' hands and encouraging kids to want to, hey, you know what, open packs up. It makes you feel good when you open those packs, especially when you open up an Ultimate Masters pack and you open it up paying $15 for it, and you open up a $150 card. You open up a Liliana the Veil. That's even myself, who's opened a bunch of Ultimate Masters. Every time I opened up any of the Planeswalkers, I was happy. Anytime I opened up any of the value cards, I was excited. Or you get that value out of it, and WotC knows that. They know that, and this double the master or double masters gives you double the rare funds, so you get double that little jolt of excitement that you're going to want, and those double box toppers are going to give you that super excitement too.
So okay, I hear the excitement and I understand everything you're saying. I just think I kind of stand by what I said, that I think that it's taking the game out of the collectible card game, and I don't like the direction it's going, and I don't like the precedent that it's setting for Wizards. And every time you keep introducing these products that are more expensive, and it sells, it just means you're going to get something more expensive, and I don't like that. I don't like that direction. But I hear, so I understand your viewpoint on it. So.
I appreciate like your guys' viewpoint. Like these do. Unfortunately, these types of sets do pull the game from Magic. They pull it out of the game. These are meant to get cards into players' hands, but ultimately for me, it enhances it because it gives some of those players who don't have the ability to play or money necessarily to play Modern or Pioneer. A little bit of a chance to get in there, if they buy some of the boosters or reduce the value.
It did reduce a lot of the value of these rares, which are Modern playables, right? So
Meddling Mage is one of those cards that everyone needs,
and Fulminator Mage, which is the card that everyone uses.
They're staples.
Let's because I know we have some opinions we want to get out on
BBR
of the new Zendikar packs.
Did Bad Boy Roy want to say anything about this?
Well, he's talking to himself.
Sorry. I know I'm talking to myself. My bad. I forgot to hit
yeah.
the old button. So, are we still talking about double masters?
Yeah, give your thoughts.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
I'll try to wrap this baby up, but I'll just say, just kind of echoing what Rob said, I totally agree, and I think, that the complete oversaturation is going to kill it. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree that there should be reprints and stuff, right? But the way that they're going about doing it, it's like, the reference I made in the chat was like, all right, back in the 90s, it's like having 35 Jordan foils, right? Which one's more rare than the others? The one that's got the least amount of print runs. I mean, obviously, outside of rookie cards, that's usually like, the best thing ever, right? But in regards to just foily stuff, when they try doing all that shit, that's like how you would base stuff. It's like, okay, well, which one has the least amount of prints? So in this particular situation, you got the VIP cards, right? So they're going to have the least amount of prints. So it's going to completely tank the value in other cards. Now, I could be wrong, but it's going to affect them to some degree. Yeah. So, I mean, people are going to be less apt as from a quote-unquote investment standpoint. They ain't going to go after those other cards. They're going to be trying to, home in on these VIP cards and other alternate art cards, so to speak. And then the other ones are pretty much going to be like the penny stock, so to speak. I mean, it's going to oversaturate, and it's going to kill it from a monetary standpoint. And people are going to be pissing their money away on these fucking packs, and they ain't going to be getting shit in return. And they ain't going to realize it until they're already God knows how much money in the hole.
Right.
And they're looking at it from an investment standpoint. They're like, well, shit, I ain't even getting no money back on it. It's like, well, yeah, because Hasbro don't give a shit if you get your money. They just want their money.
It's true, though. It is true. That's all that they care about.
It is. And I ain't buying into that shit.
Just remember, they don't care about your wallet. They only care about their wallet and where they can put that money.
Exactly. Right? And then the only other thing I will say on it is the fact with them VIPs being $100 a pack, that just totally pisses me off, because here's the deal. For the millionth time, you want to sit there and say, oh, we don't acknowledge a secondary market, then why the fuck are they $100?
Right.
Tell me that. Because you're trying to, you're basically acknowledging without acknowledging the cost of these cards at a singles rate, correct?
I would have been okay with those VIP packs being case toppers.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could do that. I mean, yeah, you could have done that too.
Fair? Is that fair?
Yeah. But instead, you
get
a pack and like,
I would have been perfectly fine with one or two of those sitting in every case.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, that's just lunacy. I mean, and the fact that people are going to buy into that shit, they're nuts, man. I ain't doing it. I wouldn't do that. Hell no. But that's all I got.
Understandable.
I already bought 2 cases.
Darn. All right.
Rez said Hasbro is going to care when about their money when the collectors stop paying. No, because then they'll just chop up the IP and sell it off like they've been planning since 1999 when they bought the game.
Just think of it this way, guys. Your next future is Disney. Congratulations. No. Magic's going to become Star Wars.
I know that. I mean, I only have a short opinion on the Zendikar extra booster. I think that Farah and Plain, you had something to say about that as well. But I'll just throw in my 2 cents on it, which is it's just going to create confusion in products. So now they're going to have the draft booster, which is the original booster. They're going to have the collector's booster. And now they're going to have the if you just want to open boosters,
right?
They're just creating confusion in the market.
I'm gonna let Plain go first on this.
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure who this is for. There's an extra rare in it. It's another $1. So instead of being $3.99, these are $4.99 or $5.99, I believe. So they're one of those. They're either $4.99 or $5.99. And I think that there's an extra card or extra cards in them. I don't know if they're going to be rare.
I'll explain it to you when we get to that breakdown. But I mean,
I'm actually with Rob on the whole Zendikar stuff. Like, I'm actually very excited about the set boosters. Personally, I think that's the way Magic should have been done. It shouldn't be focused on draft. But
I'm kind of a little bit on a different tangents with the set boosters. My problem is it's going to make it harder to complete sets.
Well,
When you look and the thing is how can the set boosters be aimed towards collectors being able to quickly get to the cards they want, while simultaneously making cards harder to get? It doesn't fit.
They still kept the rarity in there. They still kept the rarity levels, and I'm like, why?
But they kept, I mean, I think that what they should have done is, if they wanted to target people who collect sets, then produce a damn regular set and a foil set and actually physically sell the factory sets to the people who want to buy them. Hell,
they can't.
They can.
Because then that means they have to acknowledge the singles market.
No, they do not, because
yes, they do. Yes, they do. Just like they won't. They only give away printed sheets. They only give them away.
I disagree.
Because they can't sell them. Because if they sell them, then they have to acknowledge that those cards have a value.
That corporate rule, that Congress ruling from the 90s from Congress, why baseball cards are like that. Oh my God, who's pinging me? I don't care. That 90s ruling, which was on a congressional level, because I thought one of you guys would tell me to shut up.
No. I wouldn't do that to you, sir. We can have proper discourse.
Discord. Check this out. They can sell factory sets. And the reason they can sell factory sets is they could say that the factory set is the end-all, be-all. Baseball card companies were allowed to sell sets and booster packs under this congressional ruling back in the 80s and 90s when they were brought in front of Congress.
Yeah,
but
Magic is considered not on the same. They already fought for this. Magic's not, like, collectible cards and card game cards are not allowed to be part of that ruling.
No, they
That was
were.
part
They
of
were
it.
absolutely incorporated in on that. There's been several touch-ups on this.
That was back in the early '90s. That was before Magic even hit big.
Magic was 93, and I believe this ruling was 88,
94.
89. But the thing is that Magic started producing its stuff and pushing it through baseball card shops and comic shops using the exact same model of production as those same companies. In fact, they already have precedents for selling these through the collector's edition sets, which had the different backings. Before, they used to sell a factory set. They tried it once, the international and the collector's edition, and they went out perfectly fine.
I think they sit themselves on a very murky. I don't disagree with you. I just don't think that what they're doing is the smartest thing, because it sits them in this murky water, just like they did with these the specialty things you could buy direct from Hasbro, the whole individualized cards as well. I don't disagree with you. I just say, like, they are really they're already pushing themselves into a murky area where it could open them up to lawsuits.
No,
and it's not saying that the person's going to win the lawsuit. They're just going to have that.
The lawsuit line has already been crossed.
Oh yeah.
That's like when they did the selling singles on their website, that already crossed the line. So what they need to watch out for is the gambling laws, and they're starting to cross that. $100 booster packs with super alternate foil art.
Yeah,
what they need to be careful with, because the part of the congressional lawsuit was they were brought in to make sure that they weren't doing gambling, which is why they've also addressed loot boxes.
Right.
Magic is teetering on the line of being called a loot box, and if they keep doing all these specialty products, then they are going to be pulled in front of Congress.
Yes, they are.
And because it's owned by Hasbro, a multi-billion-dollar multinational company, I could very easily see it happening in the next 2 or 3 years of them saying, "For the children, attack!" and going after Hasbro.
So the player boosters, good or bad? Opinion. Yeah,
Bad.
Good or bad? Bad.
Bad.
Player boosters, good or bad?
Bad.
Well,
Bad.
he is gone again. Bad Boy
I'm saying
Roy.
They're terrible. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
At least for the monetary price line, it's shit. That's just my opinion, though.
For the $5.99 or whatever. All right, let's
All
bring
right.
up the.
Well, you said for the VIP, right?
No, we were talking about the player. We were just talking about the Zendikar player boosters.
Oh, I
Right.
thought you were still on the other shit. That's my fault. That's what I guess. That's the old ADHD.
Well, it's fine because it was still just the general conversation of values of new products. So.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the
Ooh.
WotC, another WotC type problem again
Yep.
going on. in
SJ
tabletop.
devil, you strike again.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah.
Hammer Games Workshop in an open letter being accused of what? Of racism.
Of racism.
That's because you're a motherfucking racist, Grim. We're tired of it.
Ah.
Everybody's
Wow.
racist.
Well, that's right. That's what we're going to be talking
I
about.
say, well, yeah. I guess we're all
What-
racist here.
What
right?
is the definition of racism now? That is
Right.
the problem, because it keeps changing every day.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's bring up that article.
All right, so I am going to skim this article, and I am going to post it in chat for those of you who have not quite yet read it. It is pretty important. I mean, we've talked about Wizards of the Coast and their problems and them being accused of being this and that, but now it is Games Workshop. So this is a Bounding into Comics article. Warhammer creator Games Workshop accused of being vicariously racist to community members. Games Workshop has been accused of being racist to community members by multiple organizations, including No More Damsels, Feminist 40K, and others in an open letter. In an open letter posted on their website, the group accuses Games Workshop, the producer of Warhammer and Warhammer 40K, of racism. So, the letter begins by asking 2 questions of Games Workshop in reference to their recently public and divisive Warhammer for Everybody statement. Of course, a lot of companies over the past, two or so months have been posting messages about being inclusive and diverse and fighting against the bad, basically. We all know how companies have been posting on social media all of these, white letter, black background posts. So, of course, Warhammer 40K, the official Warhammer community page, put one up. And This group, their first question is, what specific actions are you making to address prejudice, hatred, or abuse inside the Games Workshop company? And then they asked, what specific actions are you making to ensure that racism, sexism, transphobia, and homophobia has no place in the Warhammer community? The open letter then cites claims by Josh Mallet that he has been a victim of racism in the Warhammer community several times. He specifically claimed, my experience in the Warhammer community of first-hand racism is when I went to the Warhammer Weekender and they were announcing the Alpha Legion Praetor. He continued, but the lead, Tony, literally said to me, you are like the black guy at the end of Avengers. Now, if you've watched Avengers Endgame, the last scene, you will see what happens at the end, and that is racist. This is what we call covert racism, and the most painful thing is people just laughed. So basically that's what they are being accused of. The article does show a couple of more things. Like, they go on to cite Thomas Parrott in his account as to why he was fired from Games Workshop and the Black Library. He wrote on Twitter, Black Library has decided to terminate their association with me on the grounds that I am a poor representative of their brand. He added, this is obviously devastating for me for a lot of reasons. I don't consider it a fair decision on their part, but fair rarely matters in life. And he does go on to make a couple of more statements on Twitter that you all can read just because there's a lot of them. But basically, Games Workshop, as you can see, is being accused of racism.
They brought it on themselves by posting what they posted.
What did you say, Grim?
It's important to note what was going on with him that got him actually fired. Why they said he was a terrible representation for their company. Because he was going around on Twitter and calling people fascists and all sorts of other names.
He was, yes.
In the name of progressiveness. He was calling out all of the
Oh, you mean another racist progressive? Oh, wait, what?
He's another one of those leftist racists.
He was calling out all of the bad because he is the good.
Regressives, not leftists.
Yeah, regressives. That's a good one.
When Games Workshop was like, wow, you're an asshole, you're fired. This is
Regressist.
like, not code of conduct. What? You're firing me for calling out the bad? No, we're firing you because you're an asshole.
Yeah.
We're firing you because you were a complete douchebag. Now get out, douchebag.
Because it's for the millionth time, it's like what I've said. You can have your own fucking points and views and shit, but you're being unprofessional, and if your employer is deeming you as such and you're tarnishing their name by just going out there and doing shit like that, that is their right as the employer to be like, well, fuck you, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Actually, them getting rid of him, I'm perfectly okay with. The thing I didn't like was the fact that they posted the whole, we're inclusive to everybody, whoa, and they didn't even think about that. They didn't think about what they were doing before they did it.
Exactly. It's like what the fella said in the article. It's like nobody gave a shit until you went out of your way to be like, oh, hey, look, we're for everybody, right?
It's like one of the most anti-political board games out there. And the minute you decide to bring, of course you're going to piss everyone off.
Right.
And have that one asshole to dig up everything.
That's because when cancer attacks, it hits all parts of the system.
All right, so let's go.
This was them giving themselves cancer. They gave themselves cancer with this because next thing you know, all the cancer comes out to get them.
So let's start off going each at a time like we normally do. But I'm going to start off with a quote. It's from Winston Churchill. An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. And I think that's a good way for me to start off. Let's talk about a few things with Games Workshop. One, Games Workshop is a company that only cares about money. There is literally no one in this company that is even a fake, and they're open about it. And there's no one in this company that's even a fake progressive. So they are not even WotC, okay? Right. Because WotC does actually have people working for it that actually believe in their regressive bullshit. Okay, right. There's a lot of people that work at WotC that are just in it for the money and are virtue signaling. But at WotC, we know there are people that actually believe in this regressive bullshit. Right. Some, not everyone, some. Games Workshop, there's no one that believes in this. They're just doing it to look good, and they're pretty much forward with that fact. I mean, they care so little about their community that a couple weeks ago they put out a warning to all Warhammer content creators that they have to take Warhammer off the name of their channels or any of their branding. Who's one of the largest Warhammer content creators out there? The hot take man himself, Arc Warhammer. and he had to change his name to Arch. He had to take Warhammer off his name. And he started that. He started
only because they don't like Arch.
Well,
I'm going to say that he could have fought that because the word Warhammer is not exclusively owned by them.
That is an argument, but I agree, but most people are not. They're saying that they have a trademark, and all the content creators basically pulled it down. And I'm just using it.
The word Warhammer does have the little R next to it with the sword.
I'm only using it as an example of. I'm not even arguing that particular shitty thing that they did. I'm just saying that it's just an example of the shitty things that they do, and how they don't care about community and they don't really care about inclusivity. I love a lot of the comments, by the way, on Twitter that are like, "Go back to selling paint and shut up," you know?
Yeah.
But let's talk about
shitty paint.
Yeah, shitty paint, right? Let's talk about the big accusation of racism against them, which was the joke, right? So,
God.
A black man who worked for the company had a joke made about him referring to a Marvel movie. It was
Avengers, apparently.
Yeah, Avengers. It was referring to tokenism. It wasn't even referring to like you're of a lesser race, or it wasn't referring to slavery or anything like that. It was just referring to it was a bad tokenism joke.
I have a legit question though about that. What the hell happens at the end of Avengers Endgame that happens to a black dude? Like,
at least I'm not the only one that was thinking that.
I'm so confused.
This is not the place for you to die. Oh wait, you said Endgame. Never mind.
Yeah,
Endgame.
well,
Like,
okay, all right, we'll get into that in a second. But I'm just saying that we are this group. This open letter from this group is literally again moving the goalposts, and the goalpost they're moving is what is the definition of racism. So now racism includes jokes about tokenism, I guess. And this is the worst part. He called everyone in that room that did nothing about the joke a racist. So if someone tells a racist joke and I'm standing next to that person and I don't walk over and punch that person and say, you're a racist, I'm now a racist.
Well,
hey,
here's my
Rest
question.
for Graham, how is making Captain America Sam Captain America racist? How was that racist? I'm still confused. Like, how was that even racist?
So they're saying that it's tokenizing the character. It's a bad argument. Exactly. I agree with you. I'm just saying that they're claiming it's tokenizing that particular actor. So by making that joke, he's saying you're the token dude in the Warhammer room. So I guess that's super racist now. And even if it is insensitive,
Actually, there's a comment in chat about the guy being handed the Captain America shield.
Because
So what they're trying to say is you'd have to really reach for this one. Is handing the black guy the shield means that the black guy is the shield, and that is the old racist trope. Like they did it in South Park in when they had the huge war scene, Operation Blackies First. You know, it was horrible. It was one of those bad jokes, but like people are really reaching on this one.
I was gonna say, since I didn't really know what was going on, I thought it was like kind of like one of those references, like how people would always joke about, you know, that
I just thought it was a meat puppet.
that a black person would always die at the beginning of a horror movie, or be the first one to die. I thought it had something to do with that. I had no idea.
The inverse.
that is a trope.
Like, at the end of every Marvel movie, a black man dies. Something stupid like that.
I mean, it is.
Captain America.
Well, maybe that's what it's getting at. Because hell, I didn't know what happened at the end of the movie, so I was just trying to put it together for myself, and apparently I was completely wrong.
And Rez in chat says Ralpatha better than
Cranked.
Game.
I am just.
Ralpatha.
I'm offended by that.
Ralph Arthur was a very, very high quality manufacturer of minis, and
Oh yeah,
I wish that they were still around. I love their
so do
minis.
I. I still own some of their minis.
So I guess the end of my rant here is, they move the goalposts on the definition of racism. They expand the definition of racism. Racism just becomes whatever you want it to mean. We're all racist by association. We're racist for being in the same space as someone who might have said something that someone viewed as insensitive. So now, how does this apply to Games Workshop? It's because all of this was brought to their attention. The open letter was sent to them. The past employees have complained. The guy that was fired for being a fucking prick on Twitter for pointing out the bad. The gentleman who said a racist joke was said about him. And what's been Games Work? Let me ask everyone, what's the response coming out of Games Workshop?
I don't know.
Response.
Go for it.
Absolutely nothing. They've said
know.
nothing.
Right.
There is no response. Games Workshop has taken the road of, oh shit, we shouldn't have said anything in the first place.
And they shouldn't say anything. Period.
They've taken the point of making the statement. Everyone gets mad, and they're that dude in the cartoon who like realizes what he says, and he very quietly steps backward.
So
I find it funny because I find this. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but I find a lot of this hard to believe. Mainly because Games Workshop is a company that is founded and mostly run out of the UK, which actually has hate speech laws on the books, and just an accusation is enough to have the government come in, fine you tons of money, and go through every record you own.
Right.
That's true. It's true. And
So-
I point out as well that there were no allegations levied toward Games Workshop, and this has everything to do with what Plain Discord said right when we started about opening the can of worms, or a couple of us said that. So none of this stuff was levied or complained about or put out there on Twitter, and this letter wasn't written until Games Workshop made their virtual signaling statement.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
You know what they say? Get woke, go broke, get punched in the face by
I
someone
put it
else.
in the chat earlier. I swear the person who posted this for their social media was walking around that day and said, how can Games Workshop contract ass cancer? And they said, oh, I'll make this post. And then 25 minutes later, they're accused of racism, and they had a special letter written to them by every racist group out there telling them how racist they are.
Right.
I actually applaud Arch for sending the whole email campaign that he did. I applaud him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole email campaign was good. And if you guys out there watching this don't know about it, go to Arch's channel. He has a template for everyone to be able to do the emails. He even said in the second video, which was a follow-up to everything, if you sent an email originally, send another email. And he said, just keep hammering Games Workshop with emails.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
again, we see that Games Workshop is not a company that's double downing on it. At least they're not double downing on it. And what a lot of this is about is actually the open letter. And we're fully blaming and not letting Games Workshop off the hook for the original tweet, the original post about the virtual signaling. But at least they're not doubling down, and they're not pretending to be anything other than they ever were, which was all about the money. Listen to some of the things that Ark said about managers, Games Workshop managers that he's worked for, and about how they would tell those managers, oh, hey, if there's people in your store and they're sitting around and painting, get them out. They're wasting our time. You want people in the store that are buying product.
Those people are advertising your product.
Yeah, or that are buying product, or they're playing in a tournament or something along those lines. And literally,
these people are terrible.
Get them out.
The one store that I worked with, they told them that They told them they lost their license because another store 3 miles down the road came in, and they actually were capable of carrying one more product than the store that I was helping out was able to carry. So they lost their Games Workshop license,
Right.
and they're no longer authorized either. Because you can't, because Games Workshop, you can't have more than so many Games Workshop stores within a 25 or 50 mile radius.
Yeah, that's.
I hate you, Rob.
Yeah. I hear you, man. The rules, and I dealt with Games Workshop because Games Workshop was products that in the stores that I was running sold, so I had to deal with them, and it was always about specific shelf space. You can't have other things X amount of feet near you. Like you couldn't have you couldn't have War Machine product within, say, so many feet of your Games Workshop.
Dude, you couldn't have Privateer press anything within like 10 feet of a display of a Warhammer item.
It was crazy. They're crazy. But hey, I'm just saying that they've never pretended to be anything else than that, except for this one statement. But they're being told in this open letter, they're saying, hey, Games Workshop, you need to fight for inclusivity by exclusivity. You need to make sure that people who don't share our viewpoint, you need to make sure people that don't agree with our political opinion aren't included in your events and don't buy your products. It's almost like they're telling them, tell those people not to buy your products. Games Workshop's not doing that. They're not saying, they're not going to come out and say, don't buy our products.
Right.
Except for the virtual signaling statement that they put out originally. Other than that, they have not doubled down on
Well,
it.
put it this way. It's Games Workshop, and there's a reason I stopped carrying them in 2016.
Because of this?
Because of the way their whole company, just in general, they don't care about the customers,
They're
the players,
crazy.
the stores. They just want your money. They're worse than Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was saying.
So why would I give them money when, hell, at this point, I actually support people going out and finding the vector files and printing them themselves. They take a $5 mold and mark it up to $50, $20, $25. I don't have a problem with that. If they actually were still doing the metal minis for $50, I still wouldn't have a problem with that.
What was
Right.
the name? Vera, can you go back and look at the article for a second? Just to throw out the name of the organization that wrote the open letter.
Give me 1 second. So the open letter was from No More Damsels RPG.
Yeah, No More Damsels RPG, which is actually a
Oh,
feminist
that's
group, by the way. It's a feminist tabletop group.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
They're the ones
Only
that,
50 of these, brother. I win.
Yeah.
So-
I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, what are everyone's final thoughts on kind of the Warhammer?
my final thoughts are, and then we'll give it off to everyone else, is I think Games Workshop should continue to say nothing and sell paint and models and keep soldiering forward and not inject politics of any kind. They're a game company. You sell a product, sell that product. And you know what? Games Workshop has never, ever done anything in their history that has ever not been inclusive. They have never done anything that's actually not inclusive. And
Right.
these allegations that are levied against them are ridiculous. It's just people saying, oh, don't include people who don't agree with us. If you are a company, you want to sell to everyone. I hate to say it, even racist people.
Right.
Okay? This idea that in capitalism you can exclude people from buying your product is ridiculous.
It's going
Even
to kill you.
Yeah, it's gonna kill you. Look, I'm a Jew, and I know that there are a lot of anti-Semitic people that probably shopped at
Turn
the
it
shop
around.
that I ran, and I wasn't going to chase them out because I knew or thought they were anti-Semitic. I just interacted with them as little as I could. I helped
Not
them
one
find
up on you.
products. I helped them find the products that they wanted. I took their money and I said bye. And that's just capitalism. I'm sorry. That's
It
just
is.
capitalism. And let's stop expanding what the word racism means. Racism has a definition. Racism is about actual hate. Sorry about the cough. About actual hate and not about guys. And it's about actual hate and not about jokes. It's not about jokes. Anyway, Go to Bad Boy Roy.
I'll just say it's in short, it's just like the Chick-fil-A situation, if you will. If you don't like their stance on something, then just don't fucking buy it. But leave your bullshit out of it, okay? I mean, whatever. Like you said, it's a company that makes shit that you want to play. Well, then buy it if you want to play the fucking game. If you don't, then don't buy it.
Right.
But don't be sitting there trying to be like, oh, well, you need to be like this because I said so. Well, no, I don't. You know what I mean? I mean, we could go down this rabbit hole all day. I mean, it's nonsense. It don't need to be pushed. It's a game for the millionth time. Can we please get to the point where games are games again? It don't make no damn sense. It's just exhausting at this point that these jackasses want to keep pulling this crap. It's just exhausting. That's all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Playing Discord, what are your final thoughts on it?
Final thoughts on the WotC stuff. I look at that as like
Warhammer.
you already heard.
The Warhammer.
Final thoughts on Warhammer. They opened up their own. They decided to open up their own can of worms and invite that cancer to come in. By just posting what they did, it opened them up to let the whole Twitter mob come out there, and that's what they're good for.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't more than 15, 20 minutes after they stated that they had the Twitter mob out there against them, and they just should have just shut up and said nothing in the first place. On top of that, they're very open about how capitalistic they are in regards to their product and stuff, and how very restrictive they are. They pride themselves on the restrictions.
Right.
They will just make random pointless restrictions just to be able to make a point that they control your store, not anyone else. You are there by their invite and their permission, plain and simple.
Right.
If you want to find an alternative to 40K, go into playing instead of Warhammer, you could play the other one that's kind of close to popular with it. I forgot what it is, but that's
War Machine.
Privateers Press War Machine. War Machine's got great product, and it's American made.
Right.
Do it in America. Get American stuff, and it's got a very similar feel to it. It's just not fantasy. It's not science fiction. It's more fantasy.
Fair enough. Asfara, what are your final thoughts on the Warhammer situation?
Warhammer's best bet in a situation like this is to shut up, but unfortunately they live in one of the biggest SJW countries in the world, where you can go to jail for making a joke, no joke, or quoting rap lyrics on your Instagram. So they had no choice but to come out and try to say something before their borderline totalitarian government comes in and does something to them. That being said, their best bet would have been to come out and say, we do not condone these actions. We're going to go through and make sure it doesn't happen again. Sorry, bye. But then again, once you apologize, it shows you've done wrongthink, and now the entire SJW community comes out and pitbull fucking rolls you.
Right.
There's nothing you really could do. They were in a do or die situation. Honestly, I think their best bet would have been to just shut up, say nothing, and when Big Bad Britain comes in, sit down and go, we didn't support this, we fired the person, we went on from there, and showed their records to their government and just kept their mouths shut.
Right.
You know, I do have something to add with this, with Warhammer, with War Machine, or sorry, with 40K. 40K has my biggest problem with this is, why would you guys first say anything in regards to these things? Because first and foremost, you guys have something in your mythos that is 110% racist and absolutist. I mean, the Space Marines are the direct representation of elitism, and essentially, if any SJW wanted to jump into it, say that they're fully on racist. Well, technically, are they? They have a superiority complex.
But by definition, that's Terran versus it's specious. It's not racist, because
it's speciesism, but any SJW doesn't know that.
No. So I can give them a little bit of a rope. I can give them some slack on their rope on this one, because you can paint your Marines whatever color you want. It's whatever represents you when you sit down to go in war with the other person 72 inches away from you. And don't forget that when you're playing massive battlefields, it's not just 72 inches away from you.
Then you need to treat magic exactly the same.
I'm going to aim that gun to someone else's table and shoot onto their warfield to take out my opponent's opponent. So if I'm going out, I'm taking somebody else with me.
Right.
Yes, you could do that in tournaments. I've done it. But
All
I don't
right.
play Warhammer anymore.
There
Fuck
you
'em.
go. All right. Does anyone have any final thoughts on tonight's topics?
Yes.
Well, we still have a couple minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
just,
No.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say.
I think we should, because we have the Joe Rogan thing in the title.
Right. We can. Yeah. I want to talk about the Joe Rogan thing too.
And that's going to be. I think that'd be a pretty quick one.
Yeah.
Why don't
That's
you,
pretty
kinda
quick.
Well, you
People
kind
aren't going to expect what I'm going to say on this one about Joe Rogan.
So, if you guys don't know, I had put up a video on it, but Joe Rogan had made some statements which kind of feel out of touch when it comes to gaming. So, Joe Rogan in the past has been a heavy gamer. He's had his moments where he's spent a lot of money and a lot of time in games. But he had recently made a statement about games saying that the games are a waste of time. He said that games are a waste of time and they get you nowhere. And he decided to compare it to jiu-jitsu with saying in 3 years you could basically become a jiu-jitsu master and run a successful business when it came to it and be be successful at jiu-jitsu. But he went on to say that there are people in the gaming industry that make a shit ton of money, right? Like people like Ninja and whatnot. But he made it sound like there's a very small kind of market when it comes to large content creators in the gaming industry. And it just kind of brought up the conversation of...
He was completely sober.
Do you kind of agree... I guess the main point of conversation was if you agreed with him or not. Because on one hand, he's saying that it is extremely hard in there to make it in this industry. But at the same time, he's making statements saying that games are useless, games are a waste of time, you'll never get anywhere with them, basically.
Let me go on this one, because I think I'm going to shock you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Esther.
Yeah, I wanted to... yeah, it's fair. Go ahead.
I 100% agree with him, and that's why I play games. I don't play games to go anywhere in my life. I play games because I want to get away from my life for a short period of time. Now, that being said, what he said, that's perfectly fine. He's welcome to his opinion. I actually respect Rogan's opinions, and I disagree with him on a lot of things. But being somebody who used to spend 18 hours a day like gaming nonstop on MMOs, it is a complete waste of time for people who just don't want to deal with the world.
Yep.
I'm going to say, yes, I agree. Go on.
Well, okay, so here's my take on this. I agree with everything he says to the extent of where he was coming from and the fact that he did not clarify in this episode where he was coming from with it. Before he clarified in regards to this, he was a huge Quake addict. He still is playing Quake. And he had a horrible addiction to video games at one point in time that actually was debilitating for him. So debilitating, in fact, that he gained a whole bunch of weight. He got out of shape. He stopped practicing martial arts. He stopped being active in the community. He stayed at home most of the time. It was really bad for him, and it was actually caused a lot of depression in his life. And I think that's where he was coming from. I'm actually pretty sure that's where he was coming from in regards to saying video games are pointless or worthless. They're a time waster, because for him they were at one point in time, and then he went through recovery and realized how he needed to manage his gameplay. He needed to manage his life. And that's where he re-submersed himself in the martial arts, re-submersed himself into podcasting and everything else.
Right.
And then he also comes from that area of looking at it as like what most kids are getting into video games right now for one reason. It's not because they want to play a video game. They want to play the video game so they can play it on YouTube, so they can become famous, so they can have something really cool at one point that gets them from 0 subscribers to 5,000 subscribers overnight because they freaked out during a game of Fortnite, or something that was epic, some epic kill that gets them like 150 million views in one night. These kids are having dreams of grandeur, hoping that they can make it, when YouTube sets you up, in my opinion, for failure. And this is coming from my personal experience. You walk into it, you want to be a YouTuber, you really want to put a lot of the work into it, and then you start growing a little bit, or you hit the hard point where you have to do a lot of hard work to get them get the subscribers built in, and that means you have to put a whole bunch of work in. And a lot of these kids don't realize how much work actually goes into doing YouTube, how much time is spent on it. I think he just comes from that. He's like, if you want to really be successful in life as a young person, try to apply it into something that's more usable as a skill set, such as martial arts. I'm trying to get back into that stuff. I was a black belt before I totally gained a whole bunch of weight, got into technology and working in the tech industry and kind of sitting all day long. I don't exercise a tenth as much as I should. But that's the truth. Like, I do a lot of time playing Minecraft, and I could say there's a lot of times where I could probably have spent better time doing other things, maybe exercising or being fit or doing other things, maybe educating myself in something and being more rewarded off of it. Personally, I've moved Minecraft around for me to where I can try to make it into a lucrative business, which it is there for those things. But yeah, Joe is, I think, really misunderstood, but really you kind of need to read between the lines, and it's impossible to because of the way he put himself forward on this one. He really put himself forward in a way that sounds very elitist and very down-talking to people who play and enjoy video games. He talked down to them.
Right. I just want to read some of these, read two stats to you guys real quickly, because he says that there's he basically alluded to there's so many more opportunities in martial arts, and there's he makes it sound, even though it was a short conversation, he made it sound like gaming had no opportunities, whereas martial arts had opportunities. I just want to read to you guys these numbers. In the United States, participants in martial arts are 3.42 million. How many gamers do you guys think are in the United States?
I'd say 20.
I don't know.
20
I'm going to say about 80 million.
Over
I'd say probably close to
164 million adults in the United States play games, and 3/4 of all Americans have at least one game console in their household.
But that could be because of kids too, though.
Yeah.
But no, that's adults. Those stats are adults.
Yeah, but a lot of adults do buy the video game systems for their kids to have it.
I'm just going into the fact that there are 3.42 million martial arts students, participants in martial arts in the United States, and there are also 21,000 martial arts schools in the United States.
So let's talk about it in terms of how the video was done, how Vara did the video. Okay, so one of the things he's doing is he's comparing success in martial arts to success in gaming. Okay, and he's talking about how it's a waste of time to sit around gaming, and you have all of these kids. And this actually was a good segue with King playing Discord, talking about all the kids that come on YouTube or start streaming Fortnite and try to get somewhere.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about sports. Now, I am someone that was involved in collegiate sports when I was younger, when I first went to college. And there's a very small percentage of people who make it from high school to collegiate sports, and I can tell you that much. And there's an even smaller amount of people who ever make it pro. So you have kids running around the country. You have people playing soccer, baseball, basketball. You have kids in high school, in middle school, even into the college level. They're working their ass off. They're trying to they want to be pros.
Right.
It's no it's no different than what's going on with video games. What's the percentage of people who of all the kids that play soccer? Let's say you have 25 million kids at a time playing soccer. What's the percentage of them that make it to professional soccer, that make it into a FIFA league in Europe? I bet you that it's smaller.
Also, Vara, to counter your point about the number of people that play games versus the number of people that take martial arts, by Rogan's own definition, if every person who did video games decided to go do martial arts to open a studio, then the number of people playing that are into martial arts in the country would be 182 million.
But he didn't say it that way, though. I listened to the whole.
I know.
He didn't say that. Though.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that look at the percentage of people that make it to professional sports, and the amount of kids that are running around high schools and middle schools and even colleges trying to make it to professional sports. You can't tell me. I don't have the stats, But you can't tell me that those percentages are even close. I guarantee you that far higher percentage of people that are in video games actually make it something than are running around a freaking soccer field. And the other thing is there's so many more career paths that come out of video games than running around a soccer field. I know so many people that grew up playing video games that became a programmer because they played video games.
Oh yeah.
I know people that learned I have so many stories from people that they literally learned English, that they are fluent in English today, or Japanese. They're fluent in Japanese because they played video games. Video games are used at old folks' homes to help with coordination. They're used to help further cognitive functioning. They're used. They're used to try and rehabilitate people cognitively and physically. So there's so many. I'm just saying, there's so many tech career paths that people who play video games that lead to, that running around on a soccer field don't lead to. So I think let me finish before we need to keep segments separate. We need to look at all of the things that are branching off from technology, and video games are part of technology. And all of these things, all of these fields that branch off of video games. I know people that went into art because of video games. You know how many artists video games breed, or how many artists become technologically savvy because of video games? There's so much here. And there's so much here, so much more than what physical activity will bring, what these physical what I mean by that is what practicing sports will bring you ultimately, other than being in shape. And I think being physical is important because we need to stay in shape because we have an obese country. I'm not trying to say everyone shouldn't do that. I'm saying people should do that.
Right.
But I'm saying career paths that come from video games and technology so far outweigh anything that comes from running around a soccer field. It's not even fathomable. I don't even believe there's an argument to be had. About addiction, okay. I don't believe that there is a video game addiction disorder. I think that no proof has shown that. We've seen that. The American Psychiatric Society hasn't been able to prove or show that there's any addictive properties to video games beyond anything else that's addictive. People get addicted to watching television shows. People get addicted to knitting. People get addicted to so many different things. Video games is just another
having an addictive personality. And
exactly.
And the difference is that being addicted to running and being addicted to playing video games, one of those is going to end in your death unless a car hits you while running.
Exactly. So that is
right.
So that is my whole thing there on Joe Rogan's spiel. I think that, and that is why I feel that he is out of touch, because he's not considering all of the career paths and all of the different things that video games and technology touch,
right?
And all of the good that they have done for the world, and the massive amount of people who do make money from playing video games is a lot more than I'm sorry, Joe, is a lot more than we'll ever make from practicing Tai Chi for 3 years.
All right, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty damn good opinion. Asfara, what are your thoughts on his statement?
I thought I gave mine, but like I said, I agree with him. I don't have a problem with his statement. He may have contextualized it poorly because he's addressed it in the past, but the truth of the matter is that gaming addiction or being home gaming is a waste of time.
Right.
And that's why I do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on kind of Grimm's arguments.
My argument with Grimm's is that him being a solid gamer, I could see where he's getting not emotional, but more heated on the topic.
Yeah.
I look at it and go, it needed more than a few sound bites to get a solid opinion on, and there are prior sound bites from Rogan which would support where he was going with it. I just think that when given the opportunity to take Rogan out of proportion, the left and sometimes the extreme right will do it because he is the largest podcaster in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, sometimes people are going to put their feet in their mouth, but I'm going to agree with them on this because being somebody who gained 250 pounds staying home playing EverQuest 2 for 5 years for 18 hours a day, making $500 to $1,000 a week playing the game, just selling plat in game while playing the game, I think honestly now I would have rather have reclaimed that time, not had that money, and been another 200-pound fighter.
Fair enough.
I have a story of a friend that got into WoW, and he literally now walks around with a little keychain that is a carrot on a stick. And that carrot on a stick is a reminder to him of how much time he wasted actively playing WoW every single day, because he earned that from going to like some event or playing something that when WoW first started off, where you could actually earn that keychain in game for spending so many hours of gameplay hunting down a carrot on a stick on something to some extent. And he literally spent, I think he said that little keychain represents something like 5,000 or 6,000 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
Years of gameplay. And he got that as a gift for being a dedicated player for WoW. That's all he got. You know,
Right.
it's like, and when I got that, and after a while I looked at it, and it's like I realized how many hours I spent wasting just to get that stupid key. It's like, it reminds me how games aren't that important. They shouldn't be number one on your list, but they definitely should be important in your life, especially if they help affect you in a positive manner.
Right.
It's
I mean,
built-in
yeah.
club is what that is.
Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Bad boy, what do you think about Roy's statement? Joe's statement.
Well, I mean, it's Joe fucking Rogan. He was probably
Yeah.
stoned. I mean, let's be
Actually,
real.
oddly enough, he wasn't smoking during this specific episode.
Oh Jesus! Well, that's scary. I tell you
I think
what.
that's the reason why he probably said these things.
That's probably right. He was probably like in a normal state. He was like, "Well, holy shit, this is a brand new world to me." But-
All Alex Jones on us that episode.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Well, anyhow, so I mean, I'll just say in reference, like we were kind of already touching on it, but in excess in anything is kind of just too much. It's just bad, right?
Right.
Yep.
But I'm not going to say that video games are bad because, like, I mean, I enjoy playing games. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I live on them or anything like that. But if you're just, trying to find some way to kill some time and, you enjoy whatever it is, and what the fuck does it matter? I mean, if you're still, as long as it's not affecting your priorities in life and taking care of yourself and like just your overall well-being, then I don't see what the hell the problem is. But if you're able to take care of business, then who the fuck cares, right?
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
5,000 hours on work
Glad you do.
or
Miss
5,000 hours of TV shows.
Yes.
I mean,
Exactly. There you go.
what's
Put it
the
this way.
difference?
There is no difference.
I played probably in the course of 6 years 40,000 hours of EQ2. That's an excessive waste of time.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest. I've spent a lot of time in games, but I'll be honest. I don't regret any of it. I guess
I don't regret it.
there
I
are
got-
people.
I
There are
got lots
people.
of good memories from video games growing up and stuff. If someone tried telling me that freaking, me playing games is a waste of fucking time, I made some friends over some video games. People that maybe I wouldn't have interacted with
Right.
otherwise. I met through playing video games. Not like online, but literally like, I know this is going to sound like I'm older than what I am, but back in the day, we didn't have, the freaking online games. You went to a buddy's house and you played some fucking games, and like they had friends and vice versa. They'd
Yep.
all come together because somebody had like an N64 or
Yep.
something. Like, GoldenEye was the shit back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
everybody, whoever the hell
Sloppy
had
Golden.
GoldenEye, we went to their house and we just, shot the shit and played some GoldenEye. I mean,
In television, go shell.
One final note on the whole waste of time
Go
thing.
shell.
Something being a waste of time isn't necessarily a bad thing. And that's what a lot of people need to get over. When somebody says something is a waste of time, eating is a waste of time, drinking is a waste of time, going for a walk is a waste of time, driving to work is a waste of time. Hell, taking a dump is a waste of time. It's just a matter of, did it bring you enjoyment or not? And for me, it brought me a ton of enjoyment. So it was a waste of time, but it was the kind of time I wanted to waste in the first place.
Well, I can assure you that taking a shit does not bring me enjoyment, Rob. So
Oh
it
yeah,
was a
really?
complete
Have you ever eaten Chipotle burritos, man? You'd be happy to get that out of your system.
Oh yeah, I most certainly would.
And you wanted it out, so yeah, it did bring you joy.
What's the quote? Vera, use the quote. Time well spent.
Oh, yeah, time spent enjoying, time wasted enjoying something is not truly wasted at all.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So I think that quote answers Joe. That's what I have to say about it. In the end,
All right.
everything aside, I think that quote is what sums it up. If I had to respond to Joe, I would just say to that quote to him.
Fair enough. All right. Do we have any final thoughts on tonight's topics before we get to the outros?
I'm hungry.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it
Fair
makes me
enough.
hungry.
Man, I got
Hungry.
some separate-
You know what? I learned that no matter how hard I try, my big power PP just got downsized by a Sphera.
By what? My artist proofs that only fit
Yeah, I hate
in the
you.
world?
I got a few artist proofs, but they're all from the same artist for my 30th birthday.
I'm actually
Alright.
selling that set, so it's on Facebook. I'll point it out to you.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Chipotle away. Get it today.
Yeah. Apparently, I just found out that apparently EA and Blizzard are now adding television commercials to their console games.
Yes, we'll be
How
talking.
delightful is that?
I won't be buying their games anymore.
Yep.
It's not bad. It's not enough that you pay $75 a game for it.
Well, stop and think about it from this perspective. We used to have cable. We used to pay for the cable service in our house to watch shows without commercials, and now you get cable and everything has commercials. It's what am I paying for?
I'm
Exactly.
waiting for the time when Netflix starts. Well, we're going to go to a low-cost version, and it's $2 a month, and you get one television, and it comes with commercials. They're going to do a Hulu.
Yeah, I'll
they
keep
do
my
it.
$15 a month plan. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
probably like, well, instead of $15 a month, it's only 10. And people complain like, but it's only $10.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Also,
right.
let's start with this fair.
Yeah, outro time.
Hey everybody, I'm Asfera. I am your local game store owner on hiatus right now. You can find me here through Dark Titans on Discord, or check me out on YouTube if you can find my channel. Haha. But that being said, expect some content coming soon. I have started getting things rolling for some Minecraft videos because, I actually enjoy wasting my life playing video games.
Fair enough. Grim.
It's a good waste. It's a good waste.
I'm Grim Monolith. You can check out the intros to find out all about me at the beginning, but I am the editor for Dark Titan Enterprises and Varadark, and I am on these podcasts and on Discord as well. So you can always find me on Discord, email, any of those things.
Awesome. Plain Discord.
Hello, everybody. I'm playing Discord. I have my own channel, which is currently kind of dead, only because I haven't put anything out on it in a while. I am actually currently in the process of editing a whole season of Minecraft. It's a LPMT, Let's Play Minecraft Together series. That's in my own set in my own world, and then I also do server building as well, and I'll be building a server out, hopefully to invite some other YouTube content creators onto it to be able to do active live gameplay on there, kind of like the Hermitcraft server. Would be nice to do that eventually. And I also occasionally provide interesting feedback about WotC stuff or talk about Magic products occasionally, but most of my stuff will be Minecraft related and talking about Minecraft. I don't live stream as much anymore just because of the time frame, and I'm going to be a dad of 3 soon.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank
Wow,
you.
smash those likes for Dad of 3.
Apparently my boys can still swim.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Fully functioning
Downriver.
swimmers.
Damn. And Bad Boy Roy, where can we find you and what do you do?
Well, I guess you can find me at the Dark Titan gaming channel. And if you don't know where that is, I don't have the link copied, but you can go to Miss Var's channel on the homepage. I do believe the link is there.
It is.
So you
It
can click
definitely
that
is.
son of a bitch, and you better hit subscribe and come hang out with me, you know, whenever I decide to stream. I try to stream on Sundays for now, and I'm hoping that I'll talk to these fine people all fair about it, but there is hopefully going to be a change to my work schedule, which will be for the better. So I should have more time to stream and upload video content. Currently, my work schedule's been just fucking chaotic, and it's been hard for me to have time to do stuff. But for right now, Sundays around 5 o'clock Eastern Standard is when I've been on. And I'm trying to get into some retro shit because I absolutely love old school games. It's the best.
Amen, brother.
I'm not quite sure where to start yet. I've told people before, just you say whatever, and I'll play whatever. I'm open for
Battletoads.
anything. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Battletoads,
somebody
do
give
it.
me Battletoads. I'm like, you give me like,
Super
you know,
retro.
Battletoads.
give me like a couple, because
How about
that game
Wing
is
Commander?
hard as shit.
Well,
It really is.
Battletoads.
If you haven't played it for a while, that is challenging, man.
It
Battletoads
definitely
really good.
is. All right, you
Um,
guys.
So yeah, that is it. That is all I have. Thank you very much, Miss Vara.
Awesome. All right, so we are going to end this week's episode of Titans Table here. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I will put links into the chat in just a moment for the Dark Titan Gaming channel. But yes, I do believe that is it. And Plain Discord also posted his link, which is awesome. So, thank you all so much for stopping by for this episode of Titans Table, and have a fantastic night, everybody.
Peace.
Have a great night, guys and gals and people of the world.